A social issue is a problem that affects a significant number of people in a society, often impacting their quality of life, well-being, and access to resources. Social issues can include a wide range of challenges, such as poverty is a complex and multifaceted issue that affects millions of people worldwide, and it can have deep and lasting effects on individuals, families, and communities. Scientific studies have shown that poverty is associated with negative health outcomes, reduced access to education and economic opportunities, and increased exposure to violence and crime. Economic factors such as income inequality, job insecurity, and lack of access to financial resources can contribute to the perpetuation of poverty and make it difficult for people to escape its grip. Poverty can lead to feelings of shame, hopelessness, and despair, as individuals struggle to meet their basic needs and feel excluded from mainstream society. Poverty often disproportionately affects marginalized and vulnerable populations, including women, children, people with disabilities, and minorities, exacerbating existing social inequalities. Addressing poverty requires a multifaceted approach, including efforts to promote economic growth, increase access to education and healthcare, and reduce systemic barriers and inequalities. By working together to address poverty in a holistic and compassionate way, we can create a more just and equitable world, where all individuals have the opportunity to thrive and reach their full potential. Climate change is a global environmental issue caused by human activities that are altering the Earth's climate system, with far-reaching consequences for both humans and the planet. Scientific studies have shown that climate change is caused by the emission of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, which trap heat in the atmosphere and cause the planet's average temperature to rise, leading to melting ice caps, sea level rise, more frequent and severe weather events, and other impacts. Climate change poses a significant economic challenge, with potential consequences including decreased agricultural productivity, loss of biodiversity, and increased risk of natural disasters. Climate change can lead to feelings of anxiety, grief, and loss, as individuals and communities face the impacts of a changing climate, and the loss of beloved natural landscapes and species. Addressing climate change requires a concerted global effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, protect vulnerable populations, and adapt to the changes that are already occurring. By taking action to address climate change, we can create a more sustainable and equitable world, where humans and the planet can thrive for generations to come. Income inequality is a social and economic issue that refers to the unequal distribution of wealth and income within a society or country. Scientific studies have shown that high levels of income inequality can have negative impacts on health, education, social mobility, and even economic growth. Income inequality can lead to feelings of frustration, anger, and hopelessness, as individuals and communities face barriers to economic opportunity and upward mobility. Economic analysis shows that income inequality can have negative effects on economic growth, as it can limit the ability of people to participate fully in the economy and reduce consumer demand. Income inequality can also contribute to social and political instability, as it can lead to feelings of disenfranchisement and exclusion, and a lack of trust in government and institutions. Addressing income inequality on a global scale requires international cooperation, policies to promote economic development and growth, and investment in education and healthcare. Racial discrimination is a form of prejudice and bias that involves treating individuals differently based on their perceived racial or ethnic identity. It can take many forms, including exclusion, harassment, stereotyping, and violence. Economically, racial discrimination can limit the ability of individuals and communities to participate fully in the economy, including access to education, employment, housing, and financial resources. Emotionally, racial discrimination can have devastating effects on individuals and communities, causing feelings of shame, anger, and hopelessness, as well as a sense of being undervalued or unwanted. Addressing racial discrimination requires both individual and societal efforts to promote understanding, respect, and equity. This includes education and awareness raising, legal protections and enforcement, policy reforms, and social and economic investment in marginalized communities. To combat racial discrimination, it is important to build coalitions across racial and ethnic lines, promote empathy and understanding, and work towards dismantling the systemic barriers that perpetuate inequality and injustice. Gender inequality refers to the unequal treatment or perceptions of individuals based on their gender. It affects individuals of all genders, but primarily disadvantages women and non-binary people. Philosophically, gender inequality is considered unjust and immoral, as it denies individuals the opportunity to be treated equally and fairly based on their inherent human dignity. Economically, gender inequality can limit the ability of individuals and communities to participate fully in the economy, including access to education, employment, entrepreneurship, and financial resources. Gender inequality is perpetuated through institutionalized sexism, discrimination, and bias in policies and practices, as well as in social norms and expectations that reinforce harmful gender stereotypes. Addressing gender inequality requires both individual and societal efforts to promote understanding, respect, and equity. This includes education and awareness raising, legal protections and enforcement, policy reforms, and social and economic investment in marginalized communities. Political polarization can be seen as a manifestation of a deeper philosophical divide between those who prioritize individual liberty and those who prioritize social justice and equality. Political polarization can be seen as a symptom of a broader societal breakdown, with people retreating into their own echo chambers and losing the ability to engage in meaningful dialogue and compromise. Political polarization has been documented in many countries around the world, and is often associated with increasing economic inequality, social fragmentation, and technological change. Political polarization can be seen as a challenge to the effectiveness of government, as it can lead to a lack of consensus on how to address key economic issues such as infrastructure, taxes, and trade. Political polarization can be seen as a threat to economic stability, as it can lead to policy paralysis and uncertainty, reducing the ability of businesses to plan and invest. Addressing political polarization can inspire feelings of hope and empowerment, as individuals work together to promote the common good and build a more just and equitable society. A poor education system is a violation of a fundamental right to education, which is essential to the development and growth of individuals and societies. A poor education system perpetuates social inequalities, creating a cycle of poverty and exclusion that undermines social cohesion and threatens human dignity. Children who receive a poor education may experience feelings of shame and inadequacy, which can affect their self-esteem and mental health. Addressing a poor education system requires a comprehensive approach, including investments in infrastructure, teacher training, and curriculum development. A high-quality education system is essential to the development of a healthy and prosperous society, as it fosters a culture of innovation, critical thinking, and civic engagement. Improving the quality of education can inspire feelings of hope and empowerment, as individuals gain the skills and knowledge necessary to lead successful and fulfilling lives. A poor healthcare system is a violation of a fundamental right to healthcare, which is essential to the well-being and dignity of individuals and societies. A poor healthcare system can lead to increased morbidity and mortality, as individuals do not have access to the care they need to prevent, treat, or manage illness and disease. Children who receive poor healthcare may experience long-term effects on their physical and mental health, including increased risk of chronic diseases and reduced quality of life. A poor healthcare system can exacerbate social and economic disparities, leading to social unrest and political instability. Addressing a poor healthcare system requires a comprehensive approach, including investments in infrastructure, training, and research. A high-quality healthcare system is essential to the development of a healthy and prosperous society, as it enables individuals to lead productive and fulfilling lives. Improving the quality of healthcare can inspire feelings of relief and empowerment, as individuals gain access to the care they need to prevent, treat, or manage illness and disease, leading to better health outcomes and a higher quality of life.